Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the previous episode, we started reading together Surah Al-Fatiha. And just before we proceed with the Surah Al-Baqarah, I figured that perhaps it's going to be adding value to go through some of the basics about Arabic grammar. And yeah, this series isn't about Arabic grammar. It's basically just only about reading Quran and trying to understand what we read. But I think it's essential that as we go along, we supplement our episodes or our discussions here with some basic knowledge about Arabic grammar, which I think is going to be of a paramount, which I think is going to be very important to make it much easier for us to understand the Quran. So these aren't going to be a fully blown Arabic grammar lessons. It's basically just the bare minimum that I think we need to bear in mind before proceeding. So I think perhaps we'll take 2 or 3, perhaps 3 lessons. This is the first of them, and then followed by 2 more to give a little bit of Arabic background, and then we'll start proceeding again with reading Surah Al-Baqarah, and then maybe after reading a bit in Surah Al-Baqarah, we can also take a little bit of a break from reading and also supplement some Arabic grammar as well, and so on. So let's get started. In Arabic, any word that provides a meaning could either be noun or a verb or harf. The noun is also what we call ism, provides a meaning that is not attached to any time. So when we say Ahmed, a guy, his name is Ahmed. He is Ahmed in the past, he is Ahmed now, and he will be Ahmed tomorrow. So his name doesn't provide any time attached to it. A verb is a word that has meaning, but it also provides a time. So it's basically an event. A harf or letter is basically just 1 or 2 or 3 letters, and this harf doesn't have meaning in itself. It has to be attached to another word so that it provides a meaning. So a noun, for example, is kitab. Kitab is the Arabic word for book. As for the verb, we have past, which is madi, past, madi, present, which is what we call mudari', and imperative or an order or command, which is what we call amr. So again, we have madi, which is past, mudari', which is present, amr, which is imperative form of the verb. An example of the madi is, for example, kataba. Kataba means wrote. Kataba, wrote. That's a past verb, madi. For the present, the mudari' verb, the fi'l mudari', الفعل المضارع, we have, for example, aktub. Aktub, which means I write. Aktub. This hamza at the start indicates that I'm talking about myself. Aktub. Naktub, so that means we write. That noon at the start provides a meaning that we, naktub, we write, naktub. Yaktub, when you start with a ya, it means someone is writing. Like he is writing, for example. Taktub, so when it starts with a ta, taktub means she is writing. Hiya taktub, she is writing. So you can see in the present tense form, the verb takes or may take several forms. Most of the time, it's either start with hamza, noon, ta, or ya. It's not always, but most of the time. And each one of those letters, hamza, noon, ta, ya, when the verb starts with any of these, it basically indicates whether you are talking about yourself or you are referring to somebody else's writing, or we, or so on. So moving on to the imperative or the command form, فعل الأمر, you can say اكتب, means you are ordering somebody to write. اكتب, you write. That is for the masculine form. For the feminine form, you say اكتبي. You add like a ya at the end. اكتبي. As for the harf, it doesn't have any meaning. As you can see, for example, the ba, the lam, ala, ila, fi. All these are harf or letters. We call letters, also, although sometimes they are not just one letter. And as I said, they don't mean anything unless they are actually added to another word. So we've learned the three components of an Arabic sentence: nouns, verbs, and harf. Next lesson, inshallah, we will learn how to identify nouns, and then the lessons after that we will identify verbs and harf. These lessons are going to be very important because even if you don't know the meaning, by identifying whether the word you are looking at is a verb or a noun or a harf, would be of a great help to get you an idea about at least what you are missing, or may give you the overall meaning of the ayah, even if you don't necessarily know the meaning of each word or one word of the ayah. I hope you enjoy that, and inshallah see you next time.